course, hello.
Good to see everyone here. We are live, and welcome to our first episode of Within the Asylum.
Oh god.
So, yeah, this is our first episode of our quote-unquote gaming talk show. This is something that this was originally Justin's idea, so big kudos to him for this one. And we brought Garrett. You want to go ahead and say hello, so like you pop up on the stream so people can see you.
Hi, hello, welcome. Appreciate you guys having me. All that good stuff.
Wait. Okay, now say something.
Now start talking.
Yeah,
well,
now the
I've already said we're off to a rocky start. This relationship between you guys and me. All right.
There you go. Now you're focused. If you're in the stream, you're the guy.
Now
How do you get that to do that? Like,
it's an automated. It's an automated, like, whoever's voice is most dominant, the screen will automatically flip over to them.
I clicked on myself and then it took that away.
Yeah.
And you just hate having to look at yourself.
So
speaking into a mirror.
Okay.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna. Let's see. I'm gonna exit out and come back in because it's getting annoying.
Okay.
Let's see.
Now it's just you and me.
All right, now that asshole's gone. No.
Yeah, now that turd bag's gone.
Yeah. Okay, it's working now. Turd bag my ass.
All right, so
well,
guys,
would be the turd bag though.
It really would. It really would. Oh my god, my phone is blowing the fuck up.
Let me call bomb squad.
Hang on a second. I do apologize, guys. Again, family stuff today.
It's all good, man. We don't even have a viewer yet, so.
Might change. I'm gonna try hosting us.
Actually, it just changed.
What changed? What happened?
No, wait, let me see.
Hello. Why isn't it switching to me? That's what I'm curious. Oh, now it's switched.
It doesn't switch to yourself. I don't think.
Why doesn't it?
No,
switch
it doesn't.
To me? Oh, it
He
doesn't.
used to, and it was really, really annoying.
That's really stupid. I think it's cool that it switches between you guys, but it doesn't switch to me when I want to be up there. So I'm probably going to have to constantly be like flipping back and forth on this.
It's tough being the king.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think for the for like the talk show aspect, I think that is. But actually, no, because it wouldn't show. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Just trying to think that through. So, Demon, what the hell's going on? We could have used you last night. Where the fuck were you?
Yeah, no shit, right?
I promised that I was done.
We had perfect, like, Julie set up for you. And the one time you had a chance to, like, bash Julie to hell.
Wait, was he really in here?
He was a minute ago.
Is Demon... Yeah, Demon's in here. He just hasn't said what's up yet.
Yeah. Fine, Demon, we don't want to talk to you either.
Yeah. Boo.
That's something for you, Demon, right here. Let me just use my applicator, right, and Demon, pow, right here. That one burned a little.
So anyway, as I was saying, guys, welcome to the first episode of Within the Asylum. This is our gaming talk show. Justin came up with it, and we are incorporating this handsome fucker right here, who's going to be center stage.
Yeah, Justin.
His name is Garrett Moe, and he is a comrade from my old Machine Red Gaming days, which, if you don't know what that means, pre-streaming, pre-Julie, pre-all that shit.
Pre-birth, actually.
Yeah, pre-birth.
Might as well be.
I did a collaboration podcast type situation with, I think it was 5 of us total. But me and Garrett, we generally had a lot of the same opinions on most of the things that we discussed. And,
that's why we became friends. We like agreeing with one another. That's
absolutely.
the most important company to keep.
You, sir, are so right. You have no idea how correct you are. So anyway,
there's Demon. It's Garrett!
Garrett! Everybody's super excited for Garrett. We're just going to keep his mug up for a little while there and let him be the star of the show.
Yeah.
Breathe it in. You know what's funny is that nobody even on my stream has ever seen my face. This is the first time my face has ever been on Twitch.
Oh,
Face
really?
Reveal.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
I
should
see.
put on your stream title, Face Reveal. Just add that to the end of it.
Featuring handsome man. So, Within the Asylum featuring a handsome man. So, as I was saying, folks, Oh, as I was saying, we are going to discuss on this program a variety of topics in the future, but tonight we're going to focus on
Big ass titties.
tonight we're going to focus on Fallout 4 and just Fallout in general.
Fallout the 4th.
Yeah, so we're going to cover, like, did you like Fallout 4? Did you not like Fallout 4? What was our expectations? Did it, meet those expectations? Did it fall short? Did it exceed it? So, essentially, I'll lead off the discussion to say, what does the Fallout universe mean to you? First off, I think it's a very cool, unique idea and world that, the idea of all-out nuclear war, what would happen to the human race, a whole new world would be born from it. So endless possibilities. Obviously Fallout's never been afraid to get a little stretchy with what can happen with super mutants and rad scorpions and death claws and all sorts of crazy ass shit in the wasteland. So Fallout's never been a stranger to venture forth, get a little wacky at times, but I really, really enjoy it. So Justin, what does Fallout mean to you, man?
Well, one of the reasons I really like Fallout and started following the series is because I'm a huge fan of, one, open world games. They're just usually better, but mainly the end of the world aspect, like just a no man's land that you start anew. Everybody loves that idea. Basically, just a world where you can do anything. And most games usually do it at the fact, the world went at war, and now this happened, and this happened. But Fallout's one of the first one to add, the nuclear Fallout aspect to it. Basically, the world after the nukes. And they actually model their entire series based off nuclear stuff, whether it's the atomic cars that you can blow up in number 4 and they make a small nuclear explosion. They actually adopt that into everything in the society and make it work, rather than just saying, yeah, war happened, shit went down, all right, now just go run around and do whatever you want now.
Mm-hmm.
They actually give a very good reason and keep adopting it into it. Everything in the game is based off that, where other games are just yeah, okay, world's ended, now do whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few games that really stick to their guns with that. A lot of times it's glossed over. They'll mention it, they'll refer to it.
Even in Fallout 3, the entire point of it is to purify the water from the radiation.
Mm-hmm. Well, wait. I haven't finished it yet. No, I'm just kidding.
I say 4, I'll give you a 3.
Sorry, 8-year spoiler there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I only finished Fallout.
Dude, I haven't finished Sonic, the original Sonic. Don't spoil the ending.
Wait, is the hero in another castle? No. Fallout 4, I had a lot of expectations for it. The Fallout universe, to me, is the fact that it keeps getting more poignant, honestly, is the fact that you got the whole start of the war is all based on resource and scarcity of resources.
Yeah.
And it's just, that alone, even today, still resonates with me of just going God damn it still could happen. It can happen right now.
It could happen instantaneously. Yeah. Somebody just hits a button, Fallout happens. They're stopping that for a while.
And I love that regardless of where the iterations have been, whether it's in Vegas, whether it's in Washington, D.C., whether it's in Boston, which Shane we called years ago.
What is that? What did we call it?
We called Boston. We knew it was going to be in Boston.
Yes, we
Back
did.
in the day, we knew it was going to be in Boston.
Oh, you all called that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But no matter where it is, the same dynamics play out because they're universal dynamics. Now, yeah, it gets really hackneyed at times. It gets really cartoony at times. That's for the fun and enjoyment of the game. But when it comes to the actual social dynamics of towns, the religious aspect, the cult aspects, the ranger, the lone wastelander kind of thing, that shit all resonates with me. I'm a huge fucking Mad Max fan.
Oh.
And knowing in my head, that's how I'm always playing the game, is just that guy who's standing on the ridge looking down at society, just going, if you need me, I'll be there. Otherwise, I got shit to do.
Yeah, you, I don't want to cut you off, but you just gave me a really good idea for something else that makes me like Fallout even better. The like the limb damage and stuff. Like it actually affects how you move, how you act, what's going on. And the only other game I've ever seen do that, Easy, you might be able to answer this. Which Metal Gear Solid was it that you had like to dig the bullets out and bandage the
Metal
wound?
Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Snake Eater. That was Snake Eater. Like it's the only other game I've ever seen do it, and they adopted it so well into Fallout that like it slows you down. Or if your arm is broken, you could still use it. It would, yeah. I mean, in your real life, you could still use a broken arm to shoot. I mean, it would hurt, but they take that out of it.
They even had
Like, your
concussions.
hands off, then what?
They had concussions too, where you would get a concussion and your vision would like start blurring. You know, that was a pretty cool feature that they added in Fallout 3.
Madden should add that feature.
That really,
I don't think Madden really wants to bring up head injuries into the
You
NFL.
realize how quick I would pre-order that game.
oh, that'd be
hell yeah.
amazing.
Their
Everybody
sales
would be hit
but they'd
sticking.
be in a fucking PR crisis.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for real. So for me, the big thing for me, which I think Garrett's heard me say this many, many times, is I always thought, ever since the release of Fallout 3 and a true open sandbox world was shown in Fallout New Vegas and stuff, I always thought it would be awesome, like the pinnacle of the series, to like have the game open hauling ass for the vault as the bombs were falling. I always wanted that. And Fallout 4 like
Did it.
Like you actually catch a glimpse of the old world before the bombs fell, which was a huge deal to me. And your character was from the old world, so like the idea of him, because like the character has a military background too. He was in the army, so therefore, you know, like you start putting pieces together in your head. Like pretend this guy was like special ops, Navy SEALs, whatever, in the Fallout universe. It's not that crazy that he would like know how to mod guns and you know, survive off the land and survive in extreme circumstances like that, and know how to work and modify power armor instead of just being some like former slave who was born in 2225, 200 years after the bombs fell or whatever. It's like 150 years, but you know, that's, you know, the idea that you're somebody that came from the golden age and you were in the military. So like the idea of him being a badass after he wakes up in the wasteland is not that much of a stretch versus you know, Fallout 3, you were born and you came out of the vault and you just know basic education, but all of a sudden you hit the wasteland and it's like, oh, you know everything. You know how to make all these rad roach concoction stews and all this armor and all this
stuff. Walk out of the vault and go, witness me, bitches.
Yeah, it's like, I know everything. And it's like, no, that's not realistic.
Bit of demolition man aspect going there, you know?
What's
so
that?
What you're saying is because I am in the army, I am the most suited for Fallout right now.
No. What I'm saying is that
you all heard it here first.
what I'm saying is the character.
I'm not going to fight you on that.
What I'm saying is the character. Okay, during his opening monologue, the opening cutscene, he says, "And I know all too well from my time in the army, that war never changes," or whatever it was, whatever that line was. He just says he was in the army, so he could have been like super special ops. I mean, you could say anything. He could have been a fucking, you know, mess hall dude if you wanted to pretend to be a mess hall dude. But
that's what I wanted to bring up. Well, not mess hall exactly, but like deep down, I kind of just hope that he was like in journalism in the army or something like that.
Some desk job, all right?
Yeah, just like we call them like people who like when you go overseas, you're gonna have a weapon no matter what your job, whether it's just a little pistol M9 or an M4 or 249, which is a machine gun. You're gonna usually have one of those three. But the people who are like we call it the FOB, the forward operating base, people who are actually on base and just sit there all day, never leave the wire, never interact with everything, they are the most susceptible to buying every piece of gear ever known to man for their weapons, while the people outside are just like, yeah, I bought a sight, that was it. And we call it Gucci gear. And like they just put all this stuff on, but just to look good. I'm hoping that he's just one of those guys, and when it popped off, he's like, finally, I've been preparing for this, puts down the notebook. Fuck your journalism, I'm going to fight.
Don't you just wish in the opening of that game, when the bombs fell, you go back to your house kind of thing, you're looking at the wreckage, you just wish that you opened it up and here's just a fucking vault of guns. And you're just like,
That
Oh,
would
yeah.
be great.
for it. Give me an excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too much of a stretch, but I do like the fact that, because you make your own character and all that stuff, and they're like, okay, he has a military background, so the idea of him kicking ass in the wasteland after being unfrozen it's like it's not that big of a stretch. Like, you can actually logically connect the dots of logic in your brain to go, this isn't too big of a stretch. This guy he's got fucking, you could pretend he was a Green Beret, whatever, or he was a dude in the power armor, whatever you want to put together. I just thought that that was a small detail put into the main character's background that opened the door for, it's like, I'm from the old world, bitches, and you guys don't know anything. You guys are a bunch of wastelanders, and let me show you how we kicked ass back in my time. That's just the feeling I got.
Another thing about that I like, from the aspect of him coming from 200 years in the past, it's really cool how they do it. Like, when he's interacting with people, nobody really gives a shit. They're like, oh, you're from 200 years ago. Okay. Nobody's ever like, whatever, man, sure, fuck you.
Well, because every ghoul is from them,
That's true.
Every
Also,
ghoul is sticking around.
that's one thing I liked about it, that they brought in, like, the ghoul aspect, or not the aspect, like the zombie aspect of ghouls there, because it's just great how they incorporate them with, like, they want zombies, but they don't want zombies at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just that radioactive decay.
Yeah, because like most of like you said, most of the ghouls were actually created in the Great War, and they're still alive. And I believe it was 2,281, something like that. When
2077.
2077, and like it's just due to the mutation that it just disrupts the normal process of decay. That's all it does. It slows it down. It doesn't make them immortal, but it makes them just stay alive for a long time.
They don't have
And
to
also
eat or
it's
drink
wonder,
either.
How is it that these ghouls were able to stay alive that long without just being shot just for the fucking sight of them? Come on.
I think that's why they gave him like the power of speech and stuff. Oh, fucked up my pop filter. That's why they gave him like the power of speech and stuff. So they can, you come up to shoot a ghoul. Let's say you're the first person who comes across one. You're just trudging along through the wasteland, figuring out what's going on once the radiation doesn't kill you. And you come across a ghoul, and he's just sitting there trying to figure stuff out to. Maybe, let's say you have a gun too, you're ready. And you point your gun at him, trying to figure it out. You're kind of nervous because you've never shot anything before. And he just looks back at you. At that moment, you are terrified. Like, who the fuck wouldn't be? I'd be shitting my pants if that happened. But if he was able to just go, like, just talk to you and say, please don't, something like that, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Like a talking fucking zombie. and you're going to sit there and, like, talk to him for a minute. You wouldn't shoot him. And I think that's a good reason for them being able to talk, is to make it so they can they can be shot, but like so people won't kill them. Now, ghouls are hated usually throughout the Fallout universe. People don't like them.
They're generally just ostracized, society.
Yeah.
Well, it opens the door for like prejudice and like division in the new world, the wasteland world. So like, it kind of retells a story of at a time when, African Americans were subjugated because of their different skin color, their different appearance, minorities, things like that. So like, it just kind of retells that story of prejudice, that ghouls and super mutants are the trash of the wasteland, and pure humans are the superior race as it's viewed. So I thought that was kind of cool.
It's actually a really good. I can actually put it like 1950s and stuff like that, when African American folks were just like looked down upon. That's a really good reference. And so at this point, I guess let's go ahead. I have a game we're going to play. We're going to play 1950s America. I'll grab the water hose. No.
I got my dog somewhere around here.
So
no, the thing though is that I will say, the only difference I would say in that analogy is simply the fact that there were feral ghouls, non-talking.
Yes.
They did degenerate far enough where they've lost speech, lost cognitive, abilities.
What, did they call it brain rot?
For the most part, extraordinarily violent.
Oh yeah, and that's another good thing about it. Like all ghouls, no matter what, if you fight a regular ghoul, They're faster, stronger, and there's actually a science behind that and behind zombies that I like. Basically, in your muscles, there are three separate. Like, let's say in your bicep, there are three separate muscles. You usually only use one of them at a time. But like the instances where a mother lifts a car off a baby or something like that, adrenaline kicks in and you're able to use all three. Now, it usually completely just shreds your muscles, but it's the point of like their body is in an active state of decay. So it's being looked at like, oh, we need help now. So they're able to use all their power at once. You can't outrun a ghoul. Any Fallout game you play, ghouls are always faster. You have to fight or trap them or something. And that's another nice link to the ghouls that they brought.
Yeah, my strategy is usually hide behind a pillar because they're too stupid to walk around it. But
My strategy in 4 is to fall back and let dog meat go at them, and then I just take some pop shots.
I've never been a companion player. That's the thing.
I'm usually not. I usually like playing by myself because they get in the way. They attack stuff you don't want to attack.
They do,
but dog meat is a dog, and he can't die in this one. He can't. I love it.
I got rid of dog meat pretty quick. I just sent him off to a settlement and just let him do his thing. But a lot of the other characters they end up getting, I don't really like Piper, but I really like the medical bot that you get at some point. I can't remember.
Curie.
Her name is Marie.
Curie.
And Madame Curie. And it was just like that. I don't know. Maybe it was just that French woman speaking to me that I was like, I don't really give a shit if it's a robot.
You were like, yes, you may follow me anyway.
Mademoiselle, je m'appelle Garit.
Now, there is a quest involved with that where things happen. Shane, I know you're basically a baby with Fallout 4 at this point. I don't know if you've gotten that far with her.
What? But, I know. I've gotten Curie. I know the vault mission that you find her, if that's what you're referring to.
You've gotten Curie, but have you progressed her story?
No.
Okay, then I'm not going to spoil that for you.
Okay.
It's really good. You should do it. It's worth doing. What about the who have you? You all should have probably both fought the Mylark Queen.
Yeah, I fought her. Good God.
I fucking hated that.
Did you fight the Swan Lake guy?
Yes. I actually fought him beforehand. I was extremely low level.
Oh my
Whenever
God.
I play an open world game, I try to find everything first, and oh my God. But when I fought the Mylark Queen, I didn't know about like the rockets and the fueler back there, the flamethrower thing. Didn't know about that, so I came in very, very ill equipped. I had low level weapons. I was trying to get through that storyline quick so I can unlock more stuff. And she just kicked my ass over, and it was like playing Dark Souls.
No, I think I wasted a couple fat men, on her, and that didn't really work on her, and so it ended up being this very tedious back and forth of me just ducking behind a pillar, popping out two shots.
That's exactly what it
back.
It's like Garrett knows pillar kung fu. Like it's like a new form of martial arts in the wasteland.
When I was looking around after I defeated her finally, I was looking around like the crates and stuff, and I found rockets. And I'm like, rockets, what the fuck? Why don't you give me a launcher or something? Looking around, I'm like, well, there's the fucking launcher. You got to be shitting me. Like 2 or 3 hours wasted. I could have fucking just blown her ass up.
Oh, so the Legend of Swan Lake. What did you guys think of that? Because I took that motherfucker down, and I was freaking out when I saw that dude. I ended up using a 50 cal hunting rifle, and I just like headshot after headshot. Like my companion was, my companion like distracted him, and I just like hung back and like just spam VATS and like jet and just like headshot after headshot. I mean, 50 cal is like the most damaging like conventional weapon in the game, and I was using a modded hunting rifle that I had modded up for a 50 cal, and it took probably a good 15 headshots, I think, to drop him.
Yeah.
But good God, Swan Lake! Like I saw that dude, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I think there's 5 or 6 behemoths on the map.
Yeah.
And I got lucky because I had a lot of ghouls after me, kind of thing. And he ended up actually getting distracted. So I was sitting way back. I had a sniper, and I'm just taking pot shots. It still took forever.
See, you all
the whole time I'm just waiting for him to turn around and actually see me. He never actually engaged me, thank God. But
oh wow, you got lucky.
I'm just like keep putting it in,
See, you all played like the sniper stuff and hitting them like that. At that point, I didn't know what was going on. I saw that big lake, and I'm like, ooh, there could be something cool here, maybe some loot or something. So I look up, I'm like, what the hell is that lump doing sitting in the what? Oh my god! I just took out the fat boy, ran backwards, and just fucking started firing. Boom, boom! Fuck you!
See, I don't have ammo. I don't have very good ammo conservation methods in the way that I play.
Unload everything you have at one point.
Well, I keep getting into situations where I just kind of wander around and think, oh, this is just, I just found a foundry. That's cool. Whatever, I'll just check it out. Oh, it's a bunch of really tough guys, shit ton of dudes with a lot of automatic and flamethrower weapons and shit with Molotovs. And it's like, oh, I'm fine. And then all my ammo is basically drained from doing those things.
I got a 22 pistol. I'm fine.
Yeah.
How many Simpacts do I got? I'm good. Don't even worry about it.
And I know you, Garrett, you refer to me as like a Fallout 4 baby. From a sense of like some of the story arcs, yes, but in a sense of just doing pure exploration and resource gathering, I think I have about 80 hours in, because my most powerful. Well, I've just been
walking back and forth across the map, just like
pretty much. Like I've been. I got the Minutemen like almost completely up to full strength. I have a home base with I've built like a gate around it, like a pure like metal gate, almost like think Megaton-ish.
Yeah, well, we all know what happened to that. So.
Yeah, well, if you're the dick, yeah, we all know what happens to it.
And
I've done both of them.
Yeah. So, and then I've got like some sick modded weapons, man. I got the 44 revolver, that completely tricked out, and then I have an assault rifle that is completely tricked out. That it's fully automatic, and after I made it, I probably could have taken down the beast at Swan Lake with like one clip. It's retarded. The if you can get your hands on an assault rifle and give it like the maximum, unlock all the gun nut perks, everything like that, dude, the assault rifle can become like, wow. I'm serious. Like it is way OP. But again, you burn through ammo like crazy because it's fully automatic.
Oh yeah.
Did you find the alien blaster?
What's that?
Did you find the alien blaster?
Not yet. Not yet. I haven't
saw
found
the
that.
alien ship go down, but I was being chased by like a bunch of super mutants, and I'm just like, I'll find it later. Never could.
Yeah, I still remember where it is exactly because it's not an indicated place on the map. But I saw it crashing, and I was just like, okay, here we go. Now we're starting into this portion of Fallout where it's like, and I was expecting when I got up to it, there's nothing you can really do. You just really find an alien, and you get a blaster. There's not a lot to it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else with it, actually. But I'm sitting there trying to do all sorts of crazy shit on the spaceship that's just crash landed into this forest area, trying to like get into it. Like, come on, there's got to be a little secret unlock somewhere and shit. But I think I did a video of it, and I ended up not thinking, and ended up blew through like half the ammo just doing stupid shit. It's the stuff that was just totally pointless.
The alien blaster is always one of like the top 5 weapons from a damage aspect in almost every game.
It still is. I think it was faster than what it used to be. But I also played. It's always hard for me to remember with Fallout 3 because I did the DLC with it too, and there was multiple alien weapons with it. So I always forget what the basic in-game alien weapon was. I think it was still just a blaster, but as I recall, the original alien blaster was just phenomenal. This one's not quite as much. It's a little nerfed, but it's fast firing. You can do it from a distance. It's accurate. It's the best of every gun, just not quite as powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you, son, back in my day, we didn't have any of that fancy DLC. We sat there, we used that one alien blaster, and we liked it.
That's how I beat Fallout 3 the first time, because I don't remember why I was having such a hard time with it, but I ended up getting the alien blaster, going through it, and I was just able to get through the rest of the game like it was no fucking problem. They gave us so much ammo, and I was just like,
that was like one of the funniest things about Fallout 3, that it's like, okay, it's been 200 years since the bombs fell, and there's like just fucking ammo everywhere, bottle caps everywhere, and there's food everywhere, and it's like you can open a fridge and get out like a 200-year-old thing of yum deviled eggs and eat it. Sure, you'll get rats, but it's like,
if the worst you're going to have is a little radiation poisoning, maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's like, you should essentially be just eating a clump of mold. after
Yeah,
200
probably
years.
be like, oh, there's a rock with some algae on it. I'll just lick that, you know.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem right. Like you would consume it, and it's like, oh yeah, 200 years old, whatever. It's all good. Deviled eggs are great.
Well, what would you say? I was just because I could go on forever about what I loved about Fallout 4, and I do. It's one of the best games I've played in the last, I don't know, 5-6 years, you know, kind of thing. It's just, and it's also partially my bias of just loving the franchise, but what you don't like.
Okay, that's good.
Things that, not necessarily that you hate or something like that, you know, but it's, there are some things in Fallout 4 that do irk me.
Okay, well, let's see. Things I did like about Fallout 4. I would like, this is the Metal Gear fanboy in me coming out, but I would like to see more refined, like, stealth kills, or stealth sneaking in general, because you can have a 10mm with a silencer on it. The second you hit one person, like, they know exactly where you are, and then and then everybody knows where you are. It's like, dude, if I'm shooting from the shadows with a silencer, you should be like, oh fuck, where the fuck did that come from? Spread out, and then everybody just kind of randomly patrols. You know, that would be more realistic. Whereas if you shoot somebody with a silencer and their friends are around, like, they all just immediately start firing at you. So, and that's highly unrealistic. And honestly, Metal Gear even suffered from that for like the first couple games of it. I think by Metal Gear Solid 3 or 4, they had that fixed, and it kind of had more of a realistic feel. But I always thought that the sneaking aspect of Fallout, while stealth is there as an option, there's not a whole lot put into it. And like I think there should be like stealth takedowns, and I know there's melee kills and stuff like that, like you have melee weapons and all that, but you should be able to just like come up behind a dude and like snap his neck, or if you have a blade, you should be able to just fucking slit his throat with
You just
no
want
issues.
a quick time event where you jump off a building, land on the back of a death claw with a sword, and just
yeah, there should
That
be more
would be
realistic.
epic.
that's Skyrim. Sorry, that's a different game. But
Well, Skyrim, it's not like you have to do anything to make it happen. It's if their health gets low enough. I've been playing Skyrim recently. If their health gets low enough, it automatically goes into the animation sometimes.
yeah,
So
Which-
I've hit a problem. I have run out of beer, but do not worry, do not fear, because I have the Jameson.
oh my god,
Keep it
and a
classy
suit
tonight.
coat. My god,
Yeah. Keep it classy tonight, guys. I am bringing all this here for you. The green bottle, the suit coat, the new glasses, which I'm happy about. I can fucking see.
Jesus Christ, it's like
did
being
anybody
in
ever? Does anybody ever just run around with the glasses in Fallout? Like I just put it. You usually get like spectacles early on. It gives you +1 to perception, which I always like having perception. So I just put them on. But I keep them on, and every time I'm like interacting with a character, like real life, I'm just sitting there. I go, hey guys, have you seen my son? You know where my son is? Oh, I swear, guys, I'm from 200 years in the past.
Oh man,
What's funny was that you say that. I did the exact same thing the first time I played Skyrim. Literally the exact same thing, but I played the whole thing like I was the biggest stereotypical New York Jew out of a fucking Woody Allen movie, where I'm just walking through the thing like, hey guys, how's it going? I just want to make sure that everybody's having a great time out here, kind of thing. And it was just
You having a great
out
time?
here.
play, just to give myself a new perspective on the game, where it's just like, oh, I don't want to fight any dragons. I don't really like the scaly skin of it. It just does. It rubs against my skin the wrong way, you know.
I don't have my Yoshi with me.
If
Yeah.
I could choose to just stick a voice in, just some modulation, and just have that stereotypical voice, like you have some real stupid white person voice where it's just like, hi, I'm John, you know, kind of thing. You have
Chet.
yeah.
and you
See,
do these really ridiculous stereotype voices. Oh, I would play every single
See,
game.
there's like-
we do like odd stuff, like that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna like start modding stuff and just I'll do all the voices. I'll look up everything for all the voices. Just spend hours on it and just upload it to the Steam cloud. So instead, like when the dragon, like let's say you're, what was the name of the dragon in Skyrim? The main one.
I never played Skyrim.
Oh, it's gonna whatever his name is. Let's just say because he has a deep booming voice, like "What are you doing in my domain?" Stuff like that. Instead, it'll be like, "What are you doing here? Oh, come on!
Get out of here, scaly.
Get out of here, silly! No, stop it! That hurts!
Get out here, you silly goose.
You silly goose! You
So,
little devil!
so
you.
here's one thing I would have done, Garrett, to touch on your question about things that you necessarily didn't like or would critique. So I think that they could have played a little bit more into the military background. Like, here's what I would have done. First Wasteland mission of the game. Alright, so you were in the military, okay, and you live in Boston. I think it would have been more interesting to, like, there's a base on the map, and you were stationed there, okay?
Oh,
And you know where where power armor was. Instead of just, like, magically coming across power armor in that small town that you helped the Minutemen in, why not
like
make...
years locked up.
Yeah, why not have a mission where you, like, you know, maybe I should go to the fucking military base and see, like, what's left. Is the military still operational? Things like that. So you go to the military base, it's completely deserted, ghouls infested, whatever. You pull out your power armor, and then you, like, find out it's been a couple hundred years, and it's like, okay.
It's a rusty POS
Yeah.
suit of power armor.
Yeah, but you still find a way to get it working. I thought
some
that would have been a
crappy, like,
more...
prototype
Yeah.
that it still works, but it's like it's got half its arm just hanging off, kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's the first one you're going to get rid of, but
Yeah, but that's
Doing it
like...
cool.
I thought that would have been a much cooler way to open Fallout 4. That's just, you know, play on the character's military background a little bit more.
Or even have something as small as like him going there and there's like his locker there. He has his rifle, his Cerberus rifle he used and keeps locked up, his pistol, something like that.
Yeah, I thought that would have been really cool.
Like a journal or something he kept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, really give your character, like, a sense of individuality by doing a mission like that. I thought that would have been a more badass way to open a
one of
game.
the things that kind of bugged me, and it kind of goes with that a little bit, but it was that they took away a lot of the choice of being good or evil in the game. You're really just a good guy, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it, you know, in a big way, but it's...
Every once in a while, you kind of want to be a dick.
I want to be a dick, and I want people to recognize that I'm being a dick. You know, I want the game to realize that, dude,
here's
dude
why.
buys fucking half the town. Let's not, when he goes to the next town, let's not just have him going, yeah, okay, you know, hey, what's going on?
Demon pointed out Alduin was the name of the dragon there.
Alduin?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Alduin!
Alduin in the Dragon Monks.
I'll do anything for love, but I won't.
Do that.
Dragons.
So, Justin, let's touch on you. What would you critique?
Be right back.
What didn't you like about Fallout 4, or what would you have critiqued for a better experience?
Let me rack my brain hole for a second. I would, let's see, have to say, critiquing, I did not like a little bit how they changed up how some of the lower tier stuff fight you. Now, the Red Scorpions, I was very happy with them being stronger. I don't think they should have been able to tunnel.
Burrow, you mean?
Burrow, yeah. They shouldn't be able to burrow down and come up.
That's
But
scary as fuck, though.
But yeah, it is. But like physics, scorpions can't do that. It's just not possible. I know it's a video game and it's a fantasy video game, so you have to just take the hit and go. But I do love. I will say, what
Scorpions burrow.
in sand, not in dirt. They just cover themselves, but they don't tunnel down. Now I do like though. I'm gonna say scorpions shouldn't do that, but at the same time, I love how the mole rats did that. And some of the raiders will actually strap landmines to the mole rats, have them burrow up and come up. That's fucking hilarious when I first saw that.
Oh, yeah.
I always loved...
That's a real grasp on the world that you've made. You know,
Yeah.
like, I mean, from Bethesda's point of view, it's just like, that's somebody who says like, dude, how would you get rid of these fucking things? Well, you strap some TNT to them, you send them underground, and they'll just blow up their own little home. You know, I mean, that's the kind of depth that I've always appreciated about Fallout in general. It's just the seriousness that they take their own world, as silly as it can get. You know, the stupidest crap that they put in these games, and there's a lot of it. But there's always a serious level where they take everything, and that's what makes it such an immersive world.
What did you all think about how they introduced the radioactive storms?
Oh, I loved it.
I loved
that.
The whole world just getting dark. It was great.
The first time I saw that, I was like...
I freaked out. I'm like, where the fuck am I getting rats from? Get indoors!
What do you think about rain?
I was really scared. I was just like, oh crap, what do I have to do? And it's like, well, yeah, go inside. It's raining. Go inside.
Well, no, like just the fact that...
like, acid rain to start eating away my power armor and shit like that.
Yeah, just the fact that they had rain was a big deal for me. Because Fallout 3 in New Vegas didn't have any kind of weather system whatsoever.
Poop brown.
Yep, that was it. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I'd say Fallout 4 met my expectations. And the expectations were obviously very, very high because Bethesda's known for quality. They're known for... I mean, at this point, they're known for the depth of their content, and the fact that you could dump 150 hours into Fallout
easily,
and trying to explore everything is, you know, you buy a $60 game from EA Sports, you're going to get a 7-hour campaign and some simple online mechanics and matches and things like that. You spend $60 on Bethesda games, you're going to be very, very well entrenched, and you know, then you have the replayability where it's like, okay, well, let's make different choices than I made the first time. You know, let's be a dick this time, and you know, not save everyone.
Yeah.
Demon, I appreciate you asking about my beer. You can have one with me, but they're all the way over there. You got to go get one. Sorry, buddy.
And plus the whole him being in the Southern Hemisphere thing.
Yeah, he's in New Zealand. That may take a while. Keep him on ice.
That's like a 20-hour flight just to LA from New Zealand, I think.
For a beer?
Because your legs are going to be cramped.
For a cheap domestic, it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, for Demon, it's going to be an import, actually.
That's true. This is a fine import where they misspelled the word light, so it's...
Yeah.
It's a lead beer.
Yeah. What did you all think about the baseball aspect of this Fallout? Like the whole Fenway Park, and they have the baseball stuff.
Diamond City stuff. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I knew it. I mean, hold on.
I never connected that it was called Diamond City because of Fenway Park right there.
Oh, I didn't connect that until I was playing it. Yeah. But I saw Fenway in the trailer, and I was just like, oh, that's Boston. You know, that's Fenway. That's the Paul Revere statue, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I never connected it when I saw it on the map, when it's like, go to Diamond City. And I'm like, what the hell is Diamond City?
It's a diamond in the rough. That's what I thought.
Well, that's the whole thing where it bugged me because I want, like, the real names for things. And they did put a lot. They had, like, Salem and stuff like that. But Diamond City, I was like, what the hell is Diamond City? Like, I don't know what that is. Get over there, I'm just looking at Fenway, and I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah. And I do like how they didn't like spoil too much in the trailers and everything.
No.
Because, like, they show all the stuff, and if you know the places, and let's say, like, most, like, all the kids that play it haven't really experienced the world or traveled that much, so they don't know everything. But people who have, like, been to Boston or seen about it in your life, you just learn of things like that. You're like, oh, this is cool, while a kid's just like, hey, a video game. Yay, video games.
Diamond City's a real place. I've seen it online.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. So, one other thing that I absolutely love about Fallout is it's probably honestly my favorite thing to do in all of Fallout, and that is to explore the other vaults, and to actually for one of those vaults, spoiler alert, for one of those vaults to still be active was a huge surprise for me. I thought that was because, like, in Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, all of those.
There's still an active vault?
Well, yeah. That's where you actually get Curie. Spoiler alert, but
I haven't touched Fallout in a while.
Okay. But anyway, there's a vault, like, in Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, all the vaults you see, it's like, they're all done, they're dead. You find out the evil experiment and everything, and rinse, wash, and repeat. And it was always really interesting to find out the mystery of that vault. Like, what was the experiment? Why did all the people go crazy? Why are there mutations, etc.? But in Fallout 4, one of the vaults you jump into, and you're all ready to find out what the dirty secret was of this vault, and then there's like fucking people there that are like ready to kill you, and you're like, whoa, there's still vaults with people in them? Like, what?
What? You just came from a vault with people in it.
Well, you're the only
thing is,
survivor.
like, there's a couple of them that are working. One of them...
Well, yeah, you're right. Your people were frozen, so yeah.
Well, I think... Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe I'm remembering that part wrong. But I think there was a vault that you actually enact the plan that, like, you're processing it.
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
you're a catalyst for that experiment to kick off, kind of thing. But that was something that I really enjoyed about this, was being able to see a functioning vault kind of thing, see how people were actually interacting. Still, as opposed to Fallout 3, where you start in the vault, so you kind of see how it is and what everybody's doing. But you have a very limited... You're too involved in what the story is with your father and that kind of stuff in Fallout 3 that you're not really paying a whole lot of attention to it. This one, it's just seeing what people are doing, and you kind of go, well, this isn't so bad. When people aren't offing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the fact that you're an outsider. You're a foreigner to that vault. You come across it, and you're like, holy shit, this one's not dead like all the others. It's still a very thriving society.
What I've always wanted to see in the Fallout universe was a crossover of the games. Kind of like, let's say in Fallout 4, like, this isn't a thing, anybody, if you're wondering, this is not a real thing, but I would love to see, like, you go check out the vaults and stuff like that. Like, after you beat the main game, there's like a thing like, well, maybe there's other survivors that could help in the vaults who don't know. We could use them to populate the wasteland and rebuild society. So you go out looking, and eventually you come across, like, was it Vault 111 in Fallout 3?
No, it was 101.
101, Vault 101. Like, you come across Vault 101. What was the year for that game? Were the years different?
2277. It was 200 years after the bombs.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, the difference between Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 in years.
Oh, like 6 or 7, I think.
Okay, that's not bad. That's doable then. Then, you go and try to rescue them, and you come down there and you see like the, what was the name of the gang in there? Tunnel Snakes or Tunnel Rats?
Yeah, the Tunnel Snakes.
The Tunnel Snakes. Like, you see them down there, and you're like talking to everybody, and they're just a little bit older.
There actually was some carryover.
You can find a Tunnel Snake jacket.
If I'm not mistaken, I think one of the companions you can get in Fallout 4, his name's McCready, maybe?
Yeah.
And he was
the mayor of Camp Lamplight.
Yeah, he was the little kid mayor of Camp Lamplight. So, like, there is some crossover.
I like that. I do know that you can find a Tunnel Snakes jacket. I found it in some old abandoned house, looking through dressers, and there's actually a Tunnel Snakes jacket there.
Oh.
Which makes you think, was that something that was created in... Oh, I'm holding the screwdriver. Something that was created in the Fallout 3 Vault 101? Or is that something that was pre-existing? They happened to find the jackets and just go, yeah, we're the Tunnel Snakes, bruh.
I don't know. There was... in Fallout 3, there's a really cool Easter egg, actually, that I discovered. There was a vault in the lore. It was a comic strip, I think. It was a one-man vault. There was only one guy assigned to it and a crate of puppets. And the whole experiment was, how long would it take for him to mentally erode and start, like, making multiple personalities for the puppets? And he did. And then his tale, like, he actually ends up coming out of the vault at some point, but he's like so deranged from isolation that he's just like he essentially is like a badass serial killer, and just starts like, I mean, raiders fear this guy. He is so badass, and they talk about the man with the puppets, and I think his vault number was 77, and in Fallout 3, I think at Paradise Falls, I think you can actually find the Vault 77 jumpsuit, because there's only one, because there was one guy in the vault. You can actually find his vault suit, and there's like a holotape and you can actually hear like the guy who found it, like he brings it in, and everybody's like, "Oh, the Vault 77 jumpsuit, dude! Like, we don't want it. We don't want anything to do with it. Bad mojo. Fucking. What if the guy comes back for it? We don't want anything to do with this fucking jumpsuit." And if you pick up the jumpsuit and wear it, you actually get like a plus 10 melee statistic from it because the guy was so fucking deranged.
Yeah.
But that's like a cool little Easter egg, you know, that exists in Fallout 3 anyway.
Yeah, for
That's
me.
one of the things, though, that always bugged me about Fallout, you know, especially now that it's so far after the bombs fell, kind of thing, is the fact that you still have these individual lone wanderers kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of go, God, that far into the future, granted it's still apocalyptic landscape and such, but these dudes are still by themselves? Like, that's generations of fucking staying by yourself kind of thing.
Yeah. I think
There is one part of Fallout 4, a little side mission, where there is a lone person. I can't remember what the guy's name is, but he has a little shack out in the middle of nowhere. He's clearly a loner. You go down into his shack, and all of a sudden you find out that he had a bunker underneath it, and he's a ghoul now because he had been sitting next to a bunch of toxic waste and shit. So he's actually, from when the bombs fell all the way till Fallout 4, he's been sitting down there,
God.
basically twiddling his thumbs kind of thing.
What about the kid in the fridge? That kid's been
That
chilling in
was
that fridge for like
weird.
200 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a little throw to Indiana Jones and in science that doesn't work. But
Yeah, the Indiana Jones we actually will not talk about ever. We won't acknowledge it exists.
Oh man, so I think our final topic of discussion about Fallout is, what would you like to see from Fallout 5?
Ooh.
Jesus, that's projecting another 7 years in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
But now that you've seen
Well, you all
4,
predicted Boston, so
Yeah.
you're on a hot streak.
Well, I will say this: not Fallout 5, but there is a fan theory going around about the next in-between Fallout, that it might be Fallout New Vegas. No, I'm sorry, not New Vegas, New Orleans.
interesting.
And I kind of thought, well, that's
That would be
interesting. I like the idea. I like the idea of like post-apocalyptic. It would probably be by Obsidian again, who did New Vegas, which was okay. I don't have a problem with it. I thought it was still
It was
fun.
all right, yeah.
But, you know, old-time French Quarter kind of stuff would be interesting. Mutated gators, things like that. You know.
Yeah.
To see
yep.
how like the Bayou culture would survive like 200 or whatever years in the future, how they would be acting then compared to how they act now.
Well,
Because
They would be unaffected. They would be the
Yeah,
exact same.
Be the same. It's
Well,
not
that's-
even torn
What's
down.
funny is that
They rebuild. They're just like, yeah, we rebuild from hurricanes every year. We know how to do this shit. Why are y'all still living in shacks?
my only problem with that theory about New Orleans, which as cool as it would be, now it would be the future. So maybe they created something that would prevent it. Maybe it's like a bubble city, but land erosion would have taken New Orleans.
Oh yeah,
100
that's
years
true.
afterward. It's based. That would be an island way out in the Gulf at that point. But
Well, they could say like one of the nukes hit in the water, or like hit an island in the water, vaporizing like just all the water around and stuff like that. They could pull it off some way.
I'm sure they could. I mean, it's future. You can play with it, you know.
Yeah.
As for Fallout 5, boy, I mean, there's a lot of things that I would like to see a little bit more of the decision making come back as to whether you're good or evil. I mean, it was cool seeing it from a hero's perspective, but sometimes you just want to be the villain, or at least play through as a neutral player where you can decide one way or the other. I think you can get a little bit maybe more creative. The settlement system in Fallout 4, as interesting as it was, gets really tedious after a while.
Very.
And
They went too far with the settlements. I do agree with that.
And I think it could be refined into being something a lot better. I thought it was an interesting development, new change in mechanics and stuff like that they wanted to implement. But I think that could probably be expanded on and done more streamlined. It just felt so tedious at times and so painstaking to do simple things.
Yeah, they could have made an entire game just about like the settlements themselves. That could have been something by itself. And Demon brought up a very good point. One thing I would like to see that is never discussed, they never even really talk about repopulation or anything. Most people are just like, this is the way it is. I would love to see a way where like like you don't repopulate the Earth, but maybe you give it a start. You put a system in place at some point. Maybe through decision making, it's one of the endings, or like a little side thing in the endings. I think that would be pretty interesting. But if you do that, that's the issue. That would have to really, to do it very well. The best way to do it, that would have to be the last Fallout, where you go, okay, everyth's going back to normal now.
Okay.
You couldn't really do it because that's too finite. It's too final. I mean.
Okay. So I'm the story whore of the group. I love my games to tell me a story.
Yeah.
I'm
with you on that.
Only a story whore can be a fan of a game like Metal Gear, especially the whole series, and like eat it up. So obviously I'm a story whore. So from a story aspect, I would like the beginning of the game to center. I don't think it's going to happen just because they've already done the old world thing with this Fallout 4 character. But I think it would be so cool, and my version's a little different. I think it would be really cool to start the game off as like a 15-year-old or 16-year-old, and the game just doesn't have like 8 minutes in the opening of the old world. Have like big moments in a 16-year-old's life. Going out on your first date, or kissing your first girl, or hanging out with your buddies at the diner. Have some excerpts in there. Maybe make it like a 20-minute play session with different key moments of any adolescence raising, and then have the bombs come down, and then him and his family go into the vault. But be one of the first vaults that open. Say the vault's closed for 20 years. You emerge as like a 35-year-old man, and you like recall your adolescence, and maybe find a way to to make it to these moments, have different parts of the map, like in the old world setting, lights, skyline, trees with leaves, green grass, etc., etc. And then, like, as you're wandering through the wasteland, you come up on the old landmarks of key moments from your adolescence, and I just thought that would be really cool to actually be somebody who was from the old world, but you were never frozen. There was no big leap in time. You just spent 20 years in a vault, and you're one of the first vaults that opened. So, you want to talk about, like, really feeling the fucked up world. Give it only 20 years to age instead of 200.
I do like that idea.
And radiation is a much more bigger threat. You're seeing like the first ghouls emerge, the first like super mutants, the very first strain, which I don't know if that's even possible, because I think the first strain is actually from like Fallout 1 on the West Coast. But some of the first abominations beginning to crawl, in the wasteland, and just
you want that primordial ooze.
That primordial, the beginning of the wasteland, the first survivors, and everybody that is in the wasteland are people that, like, they're the first generations of survivors, which means that they were from the old world. So, you're going to run into a lot of characters that are holding up old ideals of the old world. All the factions would be like, from the old world, and I think it would be really cool, because you would begin that transition phase of like the old world beliefs dying out as the world is still very, very irradiated and dead around you. So I would like to see Fallout go back in time, and you could be a member of one of the first vaults that opened.
Well, I was going to say that's the thing is, you gotta, and I totally agree. I would love to see a reversion back to maybe some of the origins from some of these things. One of the things that I'd really like to see, and if you want story, there's so much of it. They really haven't touched much about the Midwest,
No, they haven't at all.
Northeast, or the Northwest kind of thing. There really isn't much. I would love to see the game play out where you get more in-depth history on the Great War, kind of thing. The China-U.S. relations, where that stuff starts happening, where bombs fall, that should happen. The other thing that I would really like to see happen, because this one was really big on the Institute, which is something that we talked about way back in the day.
Yep, when we called it.
That's where, Boston, that's where the Institute is. That's where all the, androids and all this kind of shit was coming from. What I'd like to see happen, story-wise, within the current, kind of thing, is trying to kind of get back at Vault-Tec. Playing
Ooh,
that up as being the main villain is somebody. I mean, honestly, they could have done it with this one, where somebody's so disgruntled about, hey, my kid died, my wife died, this, that, that kind of stuff. But that's the main focus, is trying to find out this big, dark conspiracy, because for these things to still kind of be happening to a certain degree in the future, are there people still watching these vaults? Is this still, a group that's actually active kind of thing? It would be an interesting play to see, where is all this information? Where was all that stuff supposed to be going?
that would be really cool, because if you could tie that idea into mine. You're the adolescent. 15-year-olds are old enough to know what's going on. They're still idiotic fucking kids or whatever, but they're intelligent. They can carry an intelligent conversation.
Yeah.
So you go into the vault and say you could use like the Curie vault, for example. And the idea was to experiment with biological viruses and bacteria, and there is all sorts of different things that can lead to an experiment within your vault, and like your mom dies, your dad dies, your brother dies, your sister dies, but you hang on, and then after 20 years the automatic release of the vault timer opens, and it's like you and obviously you would probably want a few other survivors, but you would be one of those survivors of that vault. You emerge, the world's fucked up, and like 4 other people come out with you, and they could be the characters present in that version of the game, and they could all have story arcs, and it's like, oh, go see if my parents made it. It's been 20 years. Run a mission. Go see if their parents' house is okay. And then you'll have like a central base that they'll be at, and maybe you can take them as companions or something. But I kind of like that, because it's like, after the vault releases, like, say you hack into the computer or something and you find out that the whole thing was fucked from the beginning because Vault Tech were bastards, and then you can literally make the game in where Vault Tech's headquarters was, like their CEO office or something, and then the ultimate idea is to get revenge on Vault Tech. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's really good. I don't think they'd be able to do the 20 years unless they altered some of the storylines or made something new, because the first vault opened in 2090, I think.
That's easy. That's an easy retcon, man. They could just be like, the Lost Vault, the vault that there's no records of.
One thing I really liked that you said was the experiments. Now, let's say, now you'd have to alter it a little bit. Well, okay, so your mom, dad, sister, let's say everybody in the vault's dying due to radiation, and they're trying to do experiments to find a cure or some way to make you live longer from radiation. And you don't die. Let's say you're not immune to radiation, but it doesn't affect you as much. That could link in a way saying, well, there's people who aren't immune, but they're...
And that could give you the ability to travel the wasteland, because the wasteland, after only 20 years, the wasteland would still be very heavily irradiated. Mm-hmm. And if the experiment happened on you and you just had that unique genetic sequence that didn't kill you and made the experiment a success, you could actually go through the dangerous radiation zones of the wasteland and make it. That would be a cool character quality.
You're seeing the creatures change.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of the game, they become more and more irradiated.
You see the first scorpions, you see the first death claws coming about. You could literally call it just Fallout Genesis or something like that. I mean, that would be fantastic.
Stop it, please stop.
What you could do is I've got a perfect idea for the opening shot when you get out of the vault. In order to keep with the timeline, let's say you find the computer, you see that the vault techs are assholes, so you sneak out through an emergency hatch or something they made only in that vault. And then they pan to the first shot of you looking out, bright sunny day, overlooking stuff. You look down and you see a mole, a mole rat just walking around, a normal size little mole rat. Or maybe a little bit above average, but he's normal. Or a cockroach or something normal. And eventually progressing, you start seeing towards more radiated areas. You start seeing that they're bigger and bigger the closer you get. And
yeah, absolutely.
They're more aggressive, yeah. That'd be really, oh man. I have so many ideas. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. That should be Fallout 5 right there. Fallout 5 Genesis.
Confirmed.
Be one of the first vaults to open up after, and make it only like 20 years, and really, I mean, oh my god, that would be so incredible. And actually,
I hate that you just nailed like Fallout Genesis too, because now that's what I want it to be called too.
Yeah, the one thing I've always wanted to see, maybe something I'd like to see in Fallout 5 too, is they do something like that, but instead of like one guy becoming an outcast, like you could become an outcast due to other circumstances, disagreements and stuff from what I'm about to say, but like the vault's open and people act like they normally are supposed to. Like everybody just leaves the vault. You go start your own settlement, stuff like that. Now maybe you get kicked out of the settlement due to disagreement, or maybe it's a game about building a
and it makes perfect sense, because Garrett's idea of like make Vault Tech the protagonist, because if you think of all like Caesar's Legion or Kaiser or whatever the fuck they call it in that game, and you think of Fallout 3's main villains, the Enclave, which was a carryover from Fallout 2, and all the different, the Institute, the main protagonist there. Nobody really has been a bigger bastard to people than Vault-Tec, because they pretended that they were going to save people, and then once the doors shut, only to perform experiments on them. So if you really think about it, Vault-Tec's probably the biggest bastard that hasn't been like gotten after. So the idea of being somebody that was alive when the bombs fell, you got in one of the vaults, you had something to lose, you lost it, you emerged 20 years later still remembering the old world. The previous, the heads of Vault-Tec would still be alive after 20 years. They could be in like some vault underneath the headquarters office of Vault-Tec, or they could have a super secret office somewhere, and getting there and just like going on the ultimate bloodbath, like
Colorado.
Revenge. Yeah,
that they would have something out in the mountains,
yeah,
like Lime Mountains or something.
Absolutely.
What if Vault-Tec was the one that made the bombs drop?
There's a theory about that.
There is. Yeah. I was saying, just to conduct these experiments, that they instigated the war and agitated it to do it.
Absolutely.
And I think it would be a great one to explore.
There's been a theory. There's actually fan theories out there that Vault-Tec was behind the Great War. But
I really think they were, to be honest.
You really do think they were?
I do.
Well, I don't know if I necessarily believe that, because the resource war, like China had nothing left to lose, dude.
Yeah.
They had nothing left to lose. So the idea that the world eventually just destroyed itself, I'm fine with that theory.
Who's saying that Vault-Tec was an American company?
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that they caused it, not the war, but maybe instigated or pushed in a few key points. Maybe.
Would that not be so fucked up to sit there and find that out? Like, you're playing it and you think, hey, Vault-Tec, America, great company, and it's a subsidiary of a Chinese company.
That would be really crazy.
The war to conduct these experiments. I mean, not instigate it, but were able to carry it out.
And they created the vaults as a way of getting revenge on America, because they couldn't beat them in the war. They would punish them.
Safe kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got one. What if they're doing these experiments, and most of them like to figure out how stuff acts during radiation, how people do in the Fallout world? What if China was never hit, or some parts of China, like one part of China was never hit?
See, I've always wondered, like, it would be cool to do like a Fallout in England or Fallout in Australia, or
that's the thing. Do we know? I don't think in the lore that we actually know if any nukes actually hit anywhere else.
No, we don't.
No way to know.
But see, that's the thing,
can't travel the sea.
Yeah.
Fallout, the lore, the culture of the Fallout games is so Americana based. I don't think you would ever actually see a Fallout game outside of the United States, because the rich culture of the 1950s in Fallout, and everything about it, from Nuka-Cola to fucking Blamco mac and cheese to Robco, General Atomics, all these fictional companies that, in the Americana spirit that Fallout like tries to embrace with its old video advertising and everything. Mm-hmm. It's so it's just so encrusted in Americana culture that it would almost be a disservice at that point to put it in another country, as much as I would love for that to happen.
Well, it's not that it would be in another country, but the idea that, let's just go with that theory that, hey, Vault-Tec, obviously main protagonist. Let's say that it's actually like a subsidiary of some Chinese company at that point. Who's to say? We don't even know if the nukes actually hit China.
That's true.
They're still controlling these vaults. They instigated that it's still happening. Like, the war is actually not over. I mean, it's over for everybody else, but nobody else is going to come to America because it's already been nuked to shit.
Right,
I got it. So you figure this out. You find an atomic submarine which is good at handling radiation. That's pretty much what they're meant for. You travel to China. Now, it wouldn't be a good game if China wasn't. It wouldn't be
Fallout.
It wouldn't be Fallout. But if you were had some way to travel somewhere to where Vault-Tec is, or let's say they are in America, you learn that China's still good, but the Vault-Tec guys are in America, so they can stay close to the studies, basically,
right,
and figure out what's going on. You travel to them to kick some fucking ass, and like you said, just the ultimate bloodbath. Like, right before you come in, you look to your right, there's a fucking minigun, fat boy, just the best weapons in the game right there. Like, for a boss battle, let's say final room with.
And you can make all sorts of things that this particular character would do. Like, at the end of the game, you're in Vault-Tec's headquarters. You have access and monitoring tools to all the other vaults that are still going, and
Can you imagine just that screen? It would happen. Like, some big metal doors would just open up, and you'd see a big electronic screen and all of a sudden you just see the vaults start populating in circles, like across the map.
That would be so cool. That would be such a good way to leave the game.
You start seeing little X's, like these are all the ones that you visited, these are the ones that you know are dead, but there's still 10 or 20 active and stuff like that. And that's where it fucking ends. And you're just like, oh, cream pie.
Yeah. And it's
that would be a perfect. You could perfectly go to the thing I said earlier. You start visiting the other vaults.
Yep.
Like you walk. You wouldn't have to worry about the timeline. Well, if you were, you wouldn't have to worry about the timeline then, depending on when you place this game, because let's say you go visit the vault and you see a guy exiting Vault 101, but you let him go because you don't know how he's going to act.
Oh, that's like 200 years in the future, man. That's way down the road.
Oh yeah, we are talking about
we're talking about 20 years after the bombs.
If it was in the Genesis, you couldn't do that. But if they did it in another game, just whenever, if that was the storyline of the game.
But if you really wanted to tie it together, have like Garrett said, all the TV monitors, all the Radiation King televisions, light up with camera footage in the vault numbers on them. Have one zoom in on Vault 13, which is the vault from Fallout 1.
Yeah.
And just kind of like Vault 13, and that way you can tie it all together to Fallout 1. That would be amazing.
That would be a perfect ending. I like that.
I think we figured out Fallout 5.
I really do. Yeah.
Just listening to this one.
Yeah, we need to just mail this to them and just be like, hey, just drop this sometime in the next 10 years.
Demon just put something really good. It's already Fallout 4 in New Zealand. Hell, the women here are the size of elephants. Some of them woolly mammoths. You drive past a KFC joint, all y'all see them parading around, lured in like huge herds of cattle.
Oh man, that's awesome. So, guys, with that, I think we're gonna wrap up our.
Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up our first edition of Within the Asylum. Great Fallout 4 discussion. And Garrett, thanks for joining us. I think you did fantastic. You had great stuff to add. And guys, we're going to plan on trying to do these once every 3 weeks, once a month, something like that.
Yeah, we'll get it ironed out and figure out. I actually really enjoyed this. This was fun.
And instead of doing a news show, like a gaming talk show, I think this is going to be more of an opinionated talk. Platform.
I like that.
So, what? What'd you say, Garrett?
Oh, I said, oh yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be like an opinion, or like a column. Think of it like a column. We'll pick out something significant to gaming, something popular, something everybody knows, most have played. We could talk about the downfalls of first-person shooters and how it's an oversaturated market now, but how it was such a unique idea back in the mid-'90s with Doom and things like that, and apparently you're David Copperfield. Justin, thank you for adding that in.
Yes.
with that,
I
yeah,
just wanted to set something on fire.
we're just going to
Well,
kind of
myself.
just do opinions, and we'll try to stay up with the mainstream games and give our opinion on that kind of stuff. So Fallout was a really good middle ground that we all enjoyed, that we all had good things to add. Fallout 4 scenery, I actually liked it a lot. Enough, they really brought back... See, that's the thing. Me and Garrett, we've bitched about this before. Fallout 3, as far as a scenery standpoint of feeling post-apocalyptic, they nailed it.
They
The
did very
destruction, the roads, the downtown area where everything was just crumbling at the seams. I really thought Fallout 3, you just look around and you're like, okay, some shit went down here.
well. Yeah.
Okay,
Bad.
so something really happened. Whereas in New Vegas, the whole thing about New Vegas is it didn't get hit directly.
Yeah.
So you're just wandering through the Mojave Wasteland, if you can even call it a wasteland. I call it a
But
desert.
you really got to wonder, why the hell wouldn't they hit Vegas? That
Well,
would be
Vegas
one of the
defended
key-
itself. That was the thing. Is the
Oh,
Mr.
really?
House defended Vegas. He anticipated the bombs, but
I actually never
Like
beat
paying off Voltec to not hit his city so he could
There we
properly.
fucking go.
very true. So there's all kinds of things, but New Vegas at times just felt like a Wild West goofy shooter to me, because
I think that was kind of the point of it. I'm not saying it was like
it
good,
just
better.
didn't feel like Fallout at times. It just felt like it had
own
elements of
type of
Fallout,
Fallout.
but yeah, it was like literally just a Wild West shooter to me at times, and I didn't like that so much. But Fallout 4, they nailed it, man. All the destruction was back. Everything looked murky as fuck, you know. So that answers your question, Demon. I loved the scenery. I think that they did a really, really good job of bringing back the that post-apocalyptic feel that I love about Fallout. So with that, guys, we're gonna get ready to sign off here. We're gonna give Garrett a moment to step back so he can say ta-ta. For those of you that do know, stick around. We do plan on, me and Justin will be jumping on Skype here in a moment. We will be cranking out our... So Justin, I have a question. This is going to be
why not?
live behind-the-scenes footage. Since last night's episode, I haven't listened to it, but do you want to scratch it and call tonight's episode the 7th entry, or do you think we should go with 7?
I was actually thinking about that a little bit today. I am a fan of that idea. Mainly
Okay.
because I want to keep it going. But yes, I do believe it would be best, in the best intentions, to scratch it. Because it was solid, but only because it would have been solid because we were wanting outside sources to come in and stuff, and we had plans for that, and it just kind of fell through. So I say we'll scratch that. That's why I didn't get on you like, hey, make the highlight.
Right, right.
I'm not worried about it.
So we'll scratch last night's episode, and we'll make tonight entry 7.
Yes.
We did a little bit more prep work for it, and we're going to do our best to try and be on cue with it. So kind of excited about that. Really, really excited about it, actually. Garrett is back. So Garrett is back in the house now. We were just saying, Garrett, we're going to wait for you so you can say, final thoughts, kind of thanks for having me, this is the greatest stream on earth. Shane, you're a genius. If you want to say stuff like that, go. This is your moment, man.
That's
That's
a
all. Yeah, that's all a given. Justin's right. That's a given. I mean, you already said it perfectly. No, love being on here with you guys. Love talking with you guys. Love watching
like
the
having
stream. It's always enjoyable. It's enjoyable to watch. It's certainly enjoyable to be a part of.
Oh,
Well, I'm glad you think so.
Thank you, and of course, very, very happy I got a chance to be a part of Machine Red, meeting solid guys like Brian and Garrett.
We were trying to fire you from day one.
I know. I was always the asshole bringing up the rear on that. So, with that, guys, we're gonna end the hangout, and then me and Justin are gonna jump on Skype and do another edition of Readings from Urban Dictionary. So, Garrett, thanks for coming on, bro. As far as I'm concerned, man, we can just go ahead and pencil you in as a regular on this if you would like to be a part of it, and we'll always try to collaboratively discuss what topics we're going to talk about, so that way everybody has some background and insight into our topics of discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, in the spirit of Fallout today, I have created and crafted an actual mod for a weapon, if you all would care to witness it. I am applying the final touches. There's
Oh,
tape,
God.
band-aids. So
magic,
you would say regular knife. I say let's add some. Oh, hold on. There we go. I say let's add some flame damage to that. Why not?
There's actually, I think it's called the shish kebab. That is a weapon that already exists in the Fallout universe.
Yeah, but it didn't have fire.
It didn't have fire.
If I'm not
right.
mistaken,
Yeah.
it did. I thought it did, didn't it? Isn't there like a flaming stick?
I can't
pretty
remember.
sure.
Let me see. let me look up the shish
I think
kebab.
the shish kebab was like a
I
sword.
think you're actually right. Yeah.
I thought the shish kebab had just like it was basically like a hedge trimmer kind of edge to it. That's what. I
That's
thought it
the
was.
Ripper. That's the Ripper.
That's the
Oh
ripper.
yeah. The shish kebab is pretty much okay. Yeah. Let me see here. The shish kebab is basically when you add a flamer, the flamethrower to it, blade basically. So
Okay.
it does get fire.
Yeah.
But
The mini shish kebab.
Yeah, the mini shish kebab. That's a two-hand, or I think it was a one-handed weapon, but they didn't have any like flaming knives or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I would love to have something like that
For you
Like
smaller,
flaming
compact guys.
flaming throwing knives.
Okay, there you go. Now you're getting interesting.
I like that.
Full-on ninja stars.
Yeah. Also, something I would love to see in Fallout: bows and arrows.
Nah.
I mean, why?
Meh.
I mean, you got to think of the
Dude, it's
realistic
the age. It's 2077. The age of archery is dead by the time Fallout
Let's
rolls.
say Justin's just describing Ninja Gaiden at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. Kind of.
Go play the culling. Go play fucking the forest if you want your bows and
All right,
arrows, man.
fine. I'm at fucking done.
Give me some shuriken. Give me some bows and arrows. Give me some nice little like poof, and I'm gone.
Isaac Clarke.
I can actually make some of that. Like
You know what? You know what? Fuck it, man. Let the next Fallout be in Japan, and you like come out of the vault, and you already know how to do the
Ninja Gaiden.
Hadouken. You
Ninja
can
Gaiden Fallout.
you can do the
But
Hadouken.
I'm still gonna play it as my guy. What's going on in here? Why am I in Japan?
I don't have my inhaler.
Can you imagine that? Like
It's
fucking
dusty out here.
coming out like a martial artist, you're throwing the Hadouken at people. What was the other one? Shoryuken or whatever. The fucking
Shoryuken.
yeah. You can do that to Death Claws. That would be fucking hilarious.
Fucking Shoryuken.
And then the Ryu like spinning kick, and it was like fluff 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 Hadouken or what the fuck.
Mortal Kombat meets Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Get over here.
That's a
All
mod
right.
I'd
Over
play.
here.
I would definitely
That's a
play
mod
that.
I would play.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's
Uppercut
it.
somebody.
Garrett,
Whoopsie.
thanks for your final closing thoughts, man. Really, really appreciate it. And Justin, jump on Skype, brother, and I'll call you in just a moment.
All right, man. We will see you all on the next little segment.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Garrett.
Later.